All right, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. How you guys doing today? Today we're going to have fun. I know the last 2 days it's been serious conversation, but today is a brand new topic. Like I stated earlier, happy hump day to all, okay? And today's topic, guys, we're going to talk about people that have that thing about them. That thing that when they enter the room, it makes everybody happy. It makes everybody joyous. You love being around this person. This person is just like every time they come in, they just make a bad day into a good day, right? So, there's many scenarios on how I met people like that influenced me in my personal life as well. Kind of dressed down a little bit today. Got my Earl Apostle t-shirt on. But anyway, back to the subject. Yes, I can give you so many examples of people that they got that thing about them, in the last couple of days, we talked about suffering in silence. Also, we talked about just kind of tomorrow's a better day. We talked about different subjects and so forth, standing on your square. But today we're going to switch it up a little bit and have a little bit of fun. How about that? Okay, so let me just give you a story real quick. There was this gentleman I knew from years back, and he was a close friend of mine, and he always got into some mess. It's always that one friend that gets into mess, right? And he was a stand-up guy. He was a good dude. He did his thing. Had a little girlfriend that he was in and out of relationship every now and then, but he went through a period of depression, and it got real bad one time, to the point where it seemed like he was just going to delete himself, unfortunately, and just get out of this world, because he just would go through those periods in life, right? And then let me tell you about another person that I knew that was a friend. She was always having paycheck to paycheck problems, trying to maintain a relationship. She couldn't keep a boyfriend, and she was actually a good person, guys. She was actually a submissive person. It was just the choosing of the men wasn't right. Then there's another friend that just had other problems. He just had other stuff going on. I think he had a chemical imbalance in his head. Then there's another person that just had little minor problems. Just wasn't happy with life, wasn't happy where he was in his pay grade, with his career in life and so forth. So all four of these people, just so happened to habitat at this lounge one day. And it was like a lounge party. And I was there. I was invited myself to this lounge party years back, guys. And I went with some other friends because I was invited by another friend, right? But all four of the people that I'm telling you about in this story just so happened to be there, because they said if you want to bring some friends, because they had already paid and made the reservation, and they wasn't sure that the people that they invited was gonna come or not, right? So it wound up being more people there than they intended or expected to be there. Excuse me, and I'm not editing none of this. More attendees than they expected. So to make a long story short, all four of those people, the three dudes and the one chick lady, showed up to the event. And it was a dress casual event, guys. Everybody was just there, just lounging, relaxing at this little ballroom type of deal that they rented out. Then all of a sudden, this couple came in. First, the guy came in, and then the lady came in. The guy was just a normal guy, just an everyday dude, Real cool, real nice guy. But when he held his hand back and she put her hand in his palm, and as he chorused her to the front, she was the type of person that lit up a room. She had charisma, guys. She had this lovingness about her. Now, as far as her looks, she was okay looking. Wasn't my type. But the thing that I liked about the lady was that she just related to everybody. She was a godsend, if you ever heard that term before. And I understand why this guy chose this lady to be his lady in his life, because when she worked the room, everybody liked her. Everybody loved her. She would make a little problem go away, even if it's just for that night or 30 minutes or 10 minutes. She would make that problem go away. And there are people like that in this world, guys. There are people that's very charismatic. There's people that's just very loving, and they got two things going for them. They're charismatic and they got good energy vibes. They're charismatic and they got good energy vibes. And what that basically means is that, you know, if you have a combination of those two, and because people, let me put it this way, people are looking to be entertained, not only just entertained, but people are looking for love no matter what they tell you. I don't need love in my life, blah, 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 this and that. Yes, you do. Everybody needs love in their life, right? And it don't necessarily have to be a relationship type of deal. It could just be just people just loving you just for and understanding you just the way you are, where you're at right now. And just going to give you that boost in life, just give you that boost in life that you long for. Well, she had that charisma and she worked the whole ballroom. And I think it was 100 and some people in there, maybe 115. Man, oh man, let me tell you, when she walked in that room, I'm telling you, there was a presence about her that was just stellar. Stellar, stellar, stellar. And make a long story short, guys, there are people, like I stated just a minute ago, that just come in your life and they just have that thing about them. You know what I mean? That thing about them that you're just like, wow. And there are people that come into your life that you just like so much just for them being who they are, that you just appreciate them. And you just want to hang around them just because you like that person. And let me tell you, when you have people like that in your life that you just want to be around and uplift everybody, you show them appreciation. You show them love by just going up to them, and you can even go up to their spouse or significant other and say, "Hey, I know why you chose that person." And their spouse usually or significant other usually laugh and say, "I know. We just love her because she's just a wonderful person." And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. Just, it don't have to be you trying to hit on that person or something. It's just, you just appreciate them for who they are, right? And it can be a therapy session for you. That's right. It could be a therapy session for you. Now, everybody's not going to cling on to that person's emotions and vibe and pick up on that person charismatic, and that's okay. Maybe it's not for you. That charisma, I should say. But what I'm trying to display to you guys is that there are good people out there in this world. And they are people that are there to uplift you, look out for your best interests, or if they don't know about your situation, they're there not just to entertain you, but just, just to say, hey, I appreciate you just the way you are. And we all got a bit of charisma in us. And if we just show it a little bit of kindness, a little tenderness to one another. That makes a world of difference, guys. World of difference. There's nothing wrong with being very kind to each other in this tough world and this tough economy that we have out here today. Now, on the other hand, there are people who do have charisma and good vibes, but use their gifts in a deceiving way, in a negative way. And unfortunately, they sometimes lead people to a darker path. You know, as I was growing up in the late 70s as a little kid, there was this Reverend Jim Jones and people like Jim Jones. You know, they just did things that led people down a dark path. And I'm sure you heard the old saying, don't drink the Kool-Aid, right? And there are many leaders and pastors, unfortunately, not all. There's a lot of good leaders and pastors out there. Some of them are politicians. Some of them are good friends. And some of them are cult leaders. These people that has charisma and good vibes, people, unfortunately, get caught up because they let all their inhibitions go and they're seeking for somebody that's going to lead them, which is a dangerous thing. You never want to give up all your inhibitions. You always want to use what God gave you, your common sense, no matter how much charisma somebody has. Give you a good example of what I'm saying. I've seen cult leaders for real. I've seen some really, really charismatic people. And a lot of times when people follow these people, I know why. Because a lot of times these people, low self-esteem, they come from a bad situation, sometimes a bad marriage, had a bad childhood, and they wind up following these people, letting these people think for them instead of them using self-autonomy and thinking for themselves. And also using a spirit of discernment too as well. That's what I was trying to think of. I fortunately have a spirit of discernment. Am I perfect? Hell no. But I can see through bullshit, in other words. And, you know, unfortunately, people get so caught up into what that person's belief is, their journey, even though they're deceiving people and leading them around, you know, down a dark path that they don't need to go to. People let their inhibitions go. And that's how cults start. Cults start. It comes from culture to cult. And that's why on the day of November the 18th, 1978, over 1,000 people died, unfortunately, by the hands of the Reverend Jim Jones, because they followed this man from San Francisco to Guyana. It became from Georgetown to Jonestown. And I was a little boy, and I remember seeing all these people laid out there, and I was like, Mom. And they had this guy, he was the most famous reporter. His name was Walter Cronkite. I'll never forget him. He was the most famous reporter on TV. Of course, back then we only had 4 or 5 channels, and then we had HBO. I think it was HBO. Yeah. He was reporting. And I was like, Mom, Dad, why are all these people sleeping on the ground? And it was like, my parents was like, no, these people are not sleeping on the ground. They're passed away, son. And it was a sad, sad situation. You know, and all of this starting in that San Francisco area, where during that time in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, you had a lot of cult leaders like Charles Manson, all in that same facility area. You had a whole bunch of what they call beatniks back then. And, a lot of people did acid, under the Timothy Leary type of genre. And, people were into drugs and open sex, that early 70s, late 60s type of vibe. And, those two wasn't the only. Charles Manson and Reverend Jim Jones weren't the only two leaders. They had a lot of leaders out in that park. I can't think of the name of the park right now. It just, people just vibe, and these people had charisma. But those were the two well-known ones because they led into people's death. Now, you have people that's charismatic and cult leaders that don't take stuff to that next level, like Charles Manson and Reverend Jim Jones. And the other guy, I can't think of his name, that in the 90s he had led people to commit suicide in this mansion type of deal. I think it was Heaven's Gate or something like that. But you have people that are cult leaders that don't take stuff to the extreme like that. And to me, that's even more dangerous, because it's a dragged out thing throughout years, and people lose their finances, they lose their inhibitions of who they are. That's why you got to have this thing called self-autonomy and self-discernment. And sometimes people, you got to move yourself away from situations. Like I told you earlier, suffer in silence, believe in that inner light, like I told you last week, and pray to the Most High Yah God that, hey, show me the path that I need to go to, because there's people out here that's trying to deceive me. You have to do that sometimes. And bring people in my life, God, that's got my best interests at heart, that actually care about me and love me and that's going to be there and ride with me. That's what we got to do, guys. Because when you allow another person, you just give up all of your thoughts and you just become a puppet for another person, that's when problems and tragedies happen. That's when negative cults start, in other words. You got to always think for yourself, in other words. There's nothing wrong with getting advice from this person, that person. Even on the YouTube space, there's people that take these YouTube content creators so seriously that they hang on every word they say. That's a dangerous thing. What you do is you take the advice that we as content creators give you, and you measure it out and think for yourself, and you say, okay, I took this advice from this person, this advice from that person, and you form your own opinion. That's the way you do it. Form your own opinion. Think for yourself. And yet let the, happy Wednesday, guys. And let the Most High Yah God guide you through this. Because I'm going to tell you, there's two type of people with charisma. People that's going to lead you down the wrong path, and people that's going to be your friend and lead you down the right path and show you love and rebuke you and discern you at the same time. But you got to sit back and think for yourself and see how this other person, it could be just a regular everyday person, guys. It could be a co-worker or whatever. But you got to make that decision, guys, on the people that you let in your life. Now, I pray about it, because I've had people to come up to me and try to sway me in ways that you guys would never know. And I step back and I look at myself in the mirror and I say, I close my eyes and I say, God, is this person in my life right now? Do I need to be around this type of person? And he will come to you, trust me. at the right time. He won't let you down. He won't deceive you. And you'll feel this spirit of discernment, and you'll be like, oh, I don't need to be hanging around this person. Because those red flags will be there, trust me. You just got to be careful, guys. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, yes, there's nothing wrong with having people in your life, especially when they got those good vibes and they're very charismatic, and when they can work a room and so forth. Now, on the other hand, there are people that's very charismatic and good salespeople, like your Amway type of people, and they try to get you in to direct marketing and sell you type of things, and you can make $5,000 a month or $50,000 a month. You got to be careful with those people too, because your boy here lost a few grand in the past, dealing with that situation too as well. I got caught up in foolishness like that too. Oh, maybe you're just not working hard enough. Maybe you're just not distributing. I tell you what, you pay another $1,500 and I'll show you the way. Yeah, okay. So be careful with those people too. All right, guys. Thank you very, very much. And remember, the most important thing is have a spirit of discernment. It's okay to be friends with people who are very charismatic, very friendly. But you can't give all your personal inhibition and submit yourself 100% fully to other people and lay your problems out on other people. Sometimes you do have to work out some of your problems, but there's nothing wrong with keeping people as personal good friends in your life. You just got to be careful, because people will deceive you, okay? All right. So with that being said, guys, happy Wednesday. We're halfway there. And if this is the content that you like, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting that notification bell. That way you'll know when new material is arriving. Also, smash the like button, because I appreciate it, because I need it. And also share with other like-minded people like yourself, okay? And with that being said, guys, I want you to have a happy afternoon, evening, and a happy night. And go ahead and let yourself out. That's right. Go ahead and let yourself out. You let yourself in, so go ahead and let yourself out, okay? Pull that door close so I won't get these insects and critters and flies in my house, okay? And I'll see you on the next show. And by the way, before I leave, let me just say, I'm not just Tim, but I'm Tim's On Demand. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next show. You all have a good day. Thank you.